Jacomo and friends.
Hey everybody, this is your old pal Jacomo here, and today I'd like to bring to you the second video in my playlist on how to make a character. And today's video is about the first letter in my anagram on how to make a character. It's the K, and the K is for knowledge. Knowledge. So there are a lot of different kinds of knowledge, but the most number one starting point to this of all of them is how your mechanics work. Like, if my stats are high, that's good. If I roll a die to figure out what happens, or if I do rock, paper, scissors, or if I consult an oracle or something like that, those are very basic things that you can find out through the book, or the DM can teach you. So long and short, for that number one knowledge, you need to read the book. You need to ask a question. You need to watch a video on the YouTube about this is how we play the game. Read the book, man. You just gotta get into it and understand it. Because the more you know, the better off you're gonna be. Read it. Alright, man. It's okay. Alright, sorry about that, guys, but it's a little thing that gets to me sometimes. It's everybody wants to know how it works, and they don't want to put in the effort. And that's, it is what it is. But if you put the mechanics aside, which this whole video series kind of says hey, just know them and just throw that in the garbage. Just put in an effort, a little bit of effort to figure it out. Read the book. But Giacomo, you say, I don't have time to read the book. And you're supposed to be telling me how to make a character in this video. And knowing how to do the mechanics is supposed to be a big part of how to make a character. So what do? The best you can with what you got. That's my advice. You're gonna follow everything else, and you're gonna just swallow your pride and just do your best when you sit down with the mechanics. Because frankly, if you don't know how your mechanics work, you are just gonna have to really play your character. You're gonna have a hard time. And I feel for you, man. But you know what? End of the day, you do you. Alright? You can't read the book. You can't go online to see how the best version of your character is made to give you a starting point or anything like that. That's fine. Just you need to at least then realize you're not gonna get the results you're looking for. Just the best thing you can do is then just be the one thing my character's good at, I get a high stat in it. End of story. Boom. Alright, so sorry guys, but I'm the whole mechanics part really gets me keyed up. It's not my biggest thing that I like, but it's a big part of the game. And it's tough, especially when I'm talking system agnostic about stuff. To be able to give specific advice. So if you have a specific game that you need advice on, just ask me and I'll do what I can. Alright, let's move on to number two. The number two knowledge. The more important knowledge. The knowledge number two. The second knowledge that I'm going to talk about is probably one of the most single important knowledges ever inside of a role-playing game. What kind of game are you playing? Like, is it a serious game? Is it a silly game? If you are the kind of person that every time you make a character, that character's name is Donut, and that character is like, I'm gonna tear people's eyes out, do not come to a serious game where people are gonna be like looking at dark emotions and delving deep into their souls and be like, hey, I'm Donut, and I'm gonna tear out his eyes. No, please don't. Please don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do in the game. You really can. And that's why the hobby is so great. But you're gonna ruin everybody else's time. You really are. And you're gonna ruin your own time. Because if everybody's there to have a serious game, you're going to like bring it down. People aren't gonna want to deal. They might like to have like the occasional comedic like background stuff, but honestly, I'd rather see a seat at a table given to somebody who's into what everybody's there for. So if it's a silly game and you come in and you're like, I am gonna be like Lestat the vampire, and all I'm gonna do is mope and eat people, and everyone else is here to just have a good time. No, you're also ruining it. Like if you come up in here and you're like, my vampire is all about eating the children because he's got like some dark weirdo urges. No, do not bring him into my silly game. I'm here to have like vampires that ride cows in all like, you know, the that sort of thing. I don't want to have your weirdo dark stuff in my silly game. I don't want to have your super silly stuff in my serious game. Oh. It really isn't so much to ask. Understand the theme and the mood. Read the room. Serious game, serious character. Silly game, silly character. Boom. This is getting intense. Oh man, this is really like getting me. I'm passionate about this, you know. So please bear with me. The number 3 knowledge. The knowledge number 3. This is all about like the setting. What sort of world are you in? Like, is it a modern one? Is it a medieval one? If it's a medieval one, how much like actual medieval times is it? There's stuff like that. Like, who's the gods? Who's the goddesses? Are they real? Do they have extension? Do they touch the world? You know, that sort of stuff. Those help inform your understanding of the world. Is like slavery a normal thing? Is like who's in charge? Is there a president? What year is it? If it's like the real world, is it like 1954? Is it 1968? Is it 2022? The far off future of next year. So you know your mechanics. You know the theme. You know the where, the when, and that sort of thing. So next, the big thing you need to know is who you're playing with. That's right. So like, here's the thing. Sometimes you play with strangers and that's fine. But for me, I like playing with the people I know. It's just sort of a preference for me. And so like, if I'm playing with my friend Mo-chan, I know for a fact she likes real thoughtful, like diplomatic characters. They like to talk to things. They like to try to figure out a peaceful solution to every problem. And so if I go to a game that I'm going to play with Mo-chan, and she's gonna be like, "Hey, Jacomo, I want to talk to the guy. I don't wanna knife him in the face." Then I'm gonna be like, but Mocha, I want to knife him in the face. I mean this thief guy who likes to knife people in the face. Can I knife this one? And she'd be like, "No, Jacomo, you can't knife this one. He's a good guy. He's only trying to feed his family. You gotta be nice to him." And I'd be like, "But Mocha, I got the knives. My character spent 30,000 million gold on the knives to stab people with, and this guy needs stabbing." And then she'd be like, "But Giacomo, I don't want to do that. I want to be peaceful." Then I'm like, "All right, next one's getting a knife, no matter who it is. Deal?" "No, I don't want to deal like that. I want to have a nice, peaceful, nice. And I'd be like, "All right." So I built this character, all for combat, all for stabbing people in the face. And now, I can't stab. All I want to do is stab. The guy whose alarm is going off. Yeah, so long and short, if you have a good idea of the sort of people you're playing with, you can have a better idea of the kind of character that you're gonna have a good time with. Like, let's say most of your play group really likes dungeon delving. Then you know you can build a cool dungeon delving party. And if most of the people you play with are like, "Hey, I really want to do lots and lots of diplomacy," you know that you can build a social character. And that, for me, is a big part of what the session 0 is about. Or, just communicating with your other players of "Hey, what are you looking for out of this game? What do you want out of this game?" If I go to Mochan and I say, "Hey, I want to build a character who's gonna stab stuff in the face," and she's gonna go, but and say, "Hey, maybe if you want to stab in the face, maybe I can try stabbing in the face too." Should I do the voice? Should I? Jacomo, if you want to stab, maybe I stab too. I stab in the face as well. I never stab. I stab too. We be stabby friends. Maybe next game, you be tongue friend. You do talk. Talk with your mouth instead of your knives. All of a sudden, she has a weird I got into a bad accent territory. Sorry about that, guys. That's the other thing. Bad accents don't make a character, no matter what you say. So then, at this point, you know what you are playing, you know who you are playing with, you have a fair idea of why you're playing, you know when the game is taking place, you know how to play. And I think that's the whole who, what, where, when, how, and why of the whole thing. So I guess the real basic knowledge is, who am I playing with? What game am I playing? Why am I playing the game? How do I play the game? When does the game take place? Just simple that. Who, what, where, when, how, why, when. Just knowing those things helps. And you can talk to your DM. You can take books out from the library. You can do research on the online and all that sort of thing. But the long and short, the I keep saying long and short, but really, the ultimate elephant's tail of this whole thing is just know what you want, and then go for it. That's the thing. The more you know, the more you fill your head with, the more you're going to be ready to make something really awesome. So there. That's what I can say about that. That's the knowledge. So, like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this around to, like, my own personal, like, journey. All right? So we'll be back in just 1 second. I got to go get myself a Coca-Cola. All right, well, that was a pretty good break. So, well, like I said before, I'm going to take this around back to, like, make it personal and answer the who, what, where, when, how, why of the game I'm going to be playing in, which I was invited to play in a Vampire the Masquerade game for Spoopy Month, because, you know, I like doing a spoopy thing during Spoopy Month. And the storyteller, which is what they call the GM in the Vampire, was telling me about what it's going to be like. He said it's going to be a very, like, serious game. It's going to have a lot of, like, dark themes and that sort of thing. He said it's going to be like Broadchurch, if you remember that show with the David Tennant, the Doctor Who guy, where he's playing like a detective and there's a murder in a small town. And so it's going to be like that kind of thing. It's going to take place in New England instead of the Old England. It's a little like seaside place where a lot of tourists would normally go. But the tourists aren't coming because of the COVID. So it's taking place like last year in the 2020. And so the vampires are all like worried about how they're going to feed and stuff because there's not a lot of people around. And now there's like a grisly murder that happens. So that's kind of like the core concept of what's going on. He told me it's going to be a Camarilla town, which is it pronounced Camarilla? Camarilla town, which is going to be like they believe that vampires should be secret. So I read the Vampire Core book a lot of years ago, so I decided I'd just like refresh my noggin about all the rules and stuff. And it's pretty easy to figure out, you know, like there's dots and stuff that your character gets, and you know, so the more dots you get, the better you are, and so I know that kind of concept about the mechanics and stuff, and I know like how the humanity works and da 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 da. So you know, like I'm good at that. So that's kind of like the what about the game. It's taking place now. It's taking place in New England. It's taking place with, you know, vampires that are supposed to be hidden in secret and all that kind of thing. So, you know, that's pretty straightforward, right? So then I'm going to be playing with, I think Mochan's going to be coming. So I know that I'm going to have, like, at least one of my fellow players is going to be into the social aspects. I'm probably going to have the Patrick. Is probably gonna play, and he's a professional actor, and he's probably gonna like want to play like something real in depth, and he likes like real complicated, deepy characters, and he like when he plays in like the Pathfinder, he chooses like multi-class, do this do that characters that they really take advantage of the rule set pretty well, you know. So he's like a very thinky player. And then I'm also gonna play with the Sarah. She's gonna be playing probably like she likes kind of like weirdo characters. So she's like into the David Lynch Twin Peaksy kind of thing. So she might have like kind of a weirdo character. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna talk to them, and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm kind of thinking about what sort of character I want to make, and I'm gonna see it like, are we making mostly social guys, or are we going to be making some combat guys? And if they want someone to be a combat guy, I'm definitely down to do that, because I do like being a rough guy. So we'll see how that goes. So that's the who, the what game I'm playing, the where I'm playing, the why. Now that's the big thing for me here. So like the why am I playing the vampire? What am I trying to get like out of it? And for me, this is gonna be like an opportunity to explore like the whole vampire humanity thing. Like I've played it before, and I've never really like got into it so deep. You know, like I want to really like explore the struggle of being in focus. Apparently, there it goes. And yeah, I want to really explore the trouble of being a vampire. And I think that's going to be kind of neat to have this, like, whole thingamadoo where there's going to be, like, a murder going on and trying to figure it out. And the fact that, like, being vampires, like, our characters kind of live off of people and they like hurt people and stuff. So trying to figure out who a murderer is might be kind of neat, like, you know, in the vampire way of things. But beyond that, this who, what, where, when, how. Yeah, that's pretty much all of it. So next time when we join in, I'm going to talk about the next step of KISA, which is inspiration, the eye of KISA. So tune in next time for inspiration, where I'll talk about some general high-level inspirational stuff, and then I'll talk about where my inspiration for my characters is coming from. All right, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell and all that kind of stuff. And don't forget that if we get up to like 100 or so subscribers, I'm doing a special, and you will get to see me as a DM, and that'd be kind of awesome. All right, so if you got any questions, comments, whatever, leave them in the doobly doo, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.
Jacomo.